How goes it, guys? Welcome back to Country Bunkers Trains. I hope all is well and you've been doing good. I'm really excited to share today. I've been working on a couple of custom fantasy engines in the background. They took a little longer than I was hoping, but they're here and finally ready to make their debut. And here they are. Check these out. That's right, I built myself a custom pair of Jack Daniel's AC6000's. Look at these beauties here. Now, before we dive into these, I do want to take a quick moment to tip my hat and say thank you to Stu and Medka. I have no shame in saying I completely stole their idea and ran with it. And if I may even toot my own horn, I'd say I actually think these came out a little bit better than their own personal offerings, but hey, that's just me. But yeah, a few months ago, Medka came out and announced that they were going to be doing a custom fantasy run of Jack Daniel's ES44s. I was all on board. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a big Jack Daniel's guy. What can I say? I'm a basic white guy. That's my go-to drink. This channel, this train room, me, myself, we all run on old number 7. That's what powers me through building all these layouts over these years. But yeah, they came out and announced they were doing them, and I was all for it. I was pulling my wallet out, getting ready to place my order. But then I discovered they were doing semi-scale Rail King versions, and I lost all steam there. You know, I guess I'm a bit of a prude nowadays. I enjoy the scale stuff, the bigger stuff, obviously. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy semi-scale, traditional items as well. Obviously, we just went over our Halloween train in our last video. I do like that. I'm not completely opposed. But for something like these, I definitely wanted some scale pieces. So I got to thinking about it, and I figured rather than settling on the Rail King semi-scale models, why not build my own? On top of that, I might be able to build my own and save myself quite a few bucks. This would probably be cheaper than buying the new models. And that's exactly how this turned out. I did get lucky in this arena, though, obviously. You guys might remember these engines from several videos ago. My buddy Frank actually gifted me these engines last year. Originally, this was a Union Pacific AC6000. This is a MTH Premier, old PS2 model. It is a 5-volt engine, but still runs and operates perfectly fine. And this engine was a Southern Pacific model. This is a PS2 3-volt model. Again, operates and runs fine. Now, obviously, I had these at my disposal. Originally, I was thinking of keeping the SP as it was. I kind of wanted to build up a little SP consist, if you will, get a couple more SP engines to go with that one. But I'm not really a huge UP guy, especially with modern era diesels, so this one for sure was a good prime candidate. I was thinking maybe getting a cheap dummy to go behind it to make the Jack Daniel's set, but I figured what the hell, I already had these, they were both here, let's just use these, and that saved myself a bunch of money. Truth be told, I've got about roughly $350 wrapped up into both of these engines. The most expensive part was the decal set, the custom Jack Daniel's decals. Those by far were the most expensive. I want to say it was around $170 for the guy to make the artwork and supply the decals and whatnot. The rest of that money was in paints and other various supplies needed to create these. $350 is a far cry better than the $800 or $900 that the new set is going for, the semi-scale set, in my opinion. Now, again, obviously, the big cost savings was having these engines on hand already. But guys, I say this for you to keep in mind, you know, if you have an old set of engines and you're wanting something new, don't be afraid to do your own work to them. I know that custom fantasy stuff isn't everybody's go-to thing. A lot of people dislike it, which is perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be custom, but if you got an old UP engine laying around and you want to make an SP engine out of it, don't be afraid to tinker and build yourself whatever you want. Save yourself a few bucks and have some fun doing it. Honestly, that's where I've been finding the most joy out of this hobby as of late. I've been building a lot of my own custom stuff, engines, rolling stock, so on and so forth. And that's where a lot of my enjoyment has been coming from. Everybody can go out and buy the latest and greatest and brand new thing. But having fun with the hobby and putting some work into it, it's very, very gratifying, if you will. But anyway, let's jump into these engines. Both of these engines went through the exact same amount of work. The Union Pacific required a little bit more work, which we'll touch base on here in a moment. But starting out, both of them, we had to get them completely disassembled, pretty much down to the frame, truck sides, fuel tanks, everything had to come apart. This also included all the stuff attached to the body shells, all the handrails, the windows, the wipers, anything that could be removed needed to come off to get stripped for the new paint. Once everything was disassembled, it was time to strip the old paint off of the body shells. For this, I'm just using isopropyl alcohol, 91%. This stuff does a great job of removing the paint off of the plastic shells, but not causing any damage to the shells. I have had people ask me in the past how long it takes for this stuff to soak, and to be honest, I've discovered it really depends on the model and or paint that was used on the model. Especially with these two engines. The Union Pacific, I had all the paint off of that engine within 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. Let it soak for half hour, scrub with a brush, soak another half hour, scrub with a brush. The Southern Pacific took forever. It took like 2.5 days. Whatever they used for the white in the logo and the stripes, that stuff was a booger, man. It took forever to get that stuff to come off. As mentioned, the UP did require a bit of extra work. Unfortunately, this engine suffered from this era of this engine's normal problem. The plastic in the nose is very weak and brittle. This nose had already broke and cracked once and somebody had re-glued it back together. But upon disassembling this thing, getting it ready for paint, it completely shattered apart and we had a big blowhole in the nose. It was pretty awful looking. I was able to keep one of the bigger sections and re-glue it into place. And after stripping, I took a Dremel to smooth everything out. And I picked up a cheap can of Bondo. And yes, it actually works. As you can see here, was able to reshape and rebuild the nose and get it looking good once again. I think it turned out pretty good. With everything stripped, repaired, and prepped, it was time for paint. For paint, I decided I wanted a quote-unquote Lionel paint job. I wanted a super glossy paint job. I really wanted these things to shimmer and pop under the light here in the train room. Make them stand out, you know. So to do that, we used heavy gloss paints on everything and went over everything with quite a few coats of a heavy gloss clear coat. And I'm real happy I did that. I don't know how well the camera shows it off, but these things really do pop in the train room. After the main coats were applied and given adequate time to dry, everything got masked off for the secondary or opposing colors to be applied, such as on the cab roof and the noses. I also picked up a little thing of aluminum paint to paint the window frames and the cab visors on the side of the cab, sun visors I should say. Also picked up a small pack of paint pens for the secondary colors or the minute details. Safety yellow on the handrails and walkways. White for the antennas, so on and so forth. I know they're already brass, but they didn't look that good. I even picked up some brass paint to paint the bells, as you can see here on the models. For the decals, I ended up going with Matt over at Circus Decals. He has an eBay store, but he also has a website, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. Really nice guy, super helpful and professional. I reached out to him, told him what I was looking to do, and he was more than willing to lend a helping hand. What really surprised me and actually impressed me, I don't know if he already had them or what, but he was able to produce CAD drawings of this actual engine that we could place the artwork on and get an idea and a feel for how they were going to look in real life on the model. Super impressive. If you guys are looking to do some custom decals, definitely reach out to him. Like I say, super, super nice guy. The decals themselves are very high quality. They stick fantastic. I can't say enough about them. Since we're working with full-scale models, that gave us a little bit more acreage to put a couple more decals on these, and that's exactly what I did. I also added the Tennessee whiskey made the Jack Daniel's way for 7 generations. See that on every bottle. And my buddy Tom had a fantastic idea that we had to run with, kind of mimic CSX. We've got the spirit of Lynchburg on the nose of these. How cool is that? That was a fantastic touch that we needed to do. Along with these Jack Daniel's decals that I got from him, he also had a very cheap set. I don't remember the road name, but it was another AC6000 engine. Another cheap set of decals that he had on eBay for like $13-14. I went ahead and picked those up. That way I could have some standard signage to go on the engines themselves. Again, just some more stuff to add, make it look a little bit more proper. I could not tell you where in the world these should really go. I just placed them where I thought they looked good. One of the last finishing touches for these, I did add Katie's to most of it. You see we got Katie up here, a Katie on the rear of both engines. These are the 743s, I believe they are, the short Katies. I did leave the claw coupler on the trailing unit. I didn't want to limit ourselves to what we could pull. This way, we can pull everything we have in the collection. I like running them that way. I do enjoy the Katies, but I'm not swapped over to Katie's for everything, obviously. I will say the UP was a bit more of a bear. This being an older 5-volt engine was not set up for Katie's, so I had to get the corresponding drill bit and tap and drill out the pilot for it. Not a hard job. Tom helped me out once again with spacers for the Katie's and helped me out showing where the holes need to be, so on and so forth. I think it worked out quite well once again. Let's take these beauties for a quick spin.
We'll need to get an okay from the car knocker before proceeding.
Let's go!
See if we can get you lined up still. Okay, you want me to start easing on down? On down there. Alright, here we go. Coming to clear of all tracks, drop 3 steps. You can take your heads out 4 when you're ready. You might as well take those across, but just go to 12. Stick in the north end 12. Stand by, over. Get that. All right, you do. Okay, come on off the south end east of the tower. Swing me enough room I can get 2 engines north here so I can run them up to the short deal. Okay. need something south. I got Y167 full south giving that room for you to get out of. All right, I'm going to go south. Short deal? That is correct. That's right. Excellent. All right, you got permission by the stop signal here at number 2 to number 1. Switching to motor position. See you next shift.
What do you guys think of our new Jack Daniels engines? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Are you ordering a set of the new Rail King ones? I'd love to hear that too. I know the fantasy stuff isn't everybody's cup of tea, but these are beyond fitting here for my layout. And I absolutely love them. I do hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. As always, until next time, my name is Zach, and this is Country Bunkers Trains. Y'all take care. I'll see you the next go-round.